How nice does that look? I think it came out great. I think it came out better than I thought it would.
Hey guys, so I'm going to teach you how to make a quick salt dough. It's so easy to make, it's so simple. The only ingredients that it requires is 1 cup flour, 1 cup salt, and ½ cup water. That is it. I'm going to use it to make my daughter's foot and hand print imprints. Mariana wants me to write a little poem on it. So that's it. You can do whatever you want to it. You could do shell imprints, foot imprints, dog print imprints, anything you want. You write on it. You could paint it when it's done. Just make sure you use acrylic paint. And that's it. Easy craft for the day. Hardly any mess. Let me show you how to make it. So far, I am going to sprinkle a little bit more flour on it just so it doesn't stick to my hands and it doesn't stick to baby's hands when I go to push them into the dough or clay or whatever you want to call it. It's more of a dough. And I'm going to combine that, just add a little more because it was a little watery still and I wanted it more of a dough. So I just separated the dough into 2 balls because I'm going to be making 2 different things, and if I would have just made one thing with a giant ball of dough, it would be huge. You can make a bunch of little hand prints and stuff like that. I am just going to make 2 separate things.
Here's the finished product. How nice does that look? I think it came out great. I think it came out better than I thought it would. I dotted the letters so that you weren't dragging the clay with you as you were writing it. So you had to sit there and go like dot it as you were writing it. And other tips are, as you're rolling the dough, you kind of have to keep adding flour to it so that it doesn't stick to you or stuff like that. Also, if you see like it's a mess over here, you take a little bit of flour on your finger, and if you rub it on the dough, it doesn't stick to your finger and it smooths out the dough so that you don't see a bunch of fingerprints from you constantly squishing it when you're flattening it out and shaping it. Another tip is, I couldn't use the rolling pin because if you form this dough onto the counter, you can't get it up in the same shape that you formed it. So use the pan or form it on parchment paper. This is a non-stick pan, so I was able to just form it in this non-stick pan and not have to worry about moving it and ruining it. So if you do form it on the counter, make sure you have parchment paper down or wax paper or something that could go into the oven, and to where you won't have to worry about ruining the shape and ruining what you have done. If you mess up the lettering, you simply wet your finger a little bit, smudge out the letters, and just put another little bit of flour on your finger, just like that. And just tap your finger in the flour and just put it on your finger and just smooth it off. It'll disappear. It takes some time to get it into the shape that you want and to make sure it's all smooth and pretty, but with a little bit of time, it'll be perfect. It took me like 5 minutes maybe to smooth it out and everything. The hardest thing was getting the letters and everything correct. Also, I used the holes to make the holes in it. I just used a straw and I went poke. And when I pulled the straw out, the dough got left in there. So I kind of had to pinch the end of the straw to get the dough out that was in there. But it came out good. I am going to bake it now at 300 for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the dough is golden. You may have to bake it longer depending on how thick your items are, and they may not feel hard right away, but once they cool, it'll harden. So just look for the golden color on top of the dough, and let's bake it. Let's see how this comes out. I'm so excited. So I just pulled it out of the oven. It has a hard to the touch. You can kind of hear it come back as a tap. And as it cools, it's just going to get harder and harder. I think it came out really nice. Really nice.